All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. Yes, this is one of my custom D&D games set in my very bizarre, screwed up world I've created. And the people below me are the people crazy enough to let me hold their characters hostage, as it may be. So, speaking of hostages, to kind of get us right back into the game, after kind of dealing with their visitors from the future, they decided to leave the temple of the Dark Lady and to travel south a little bit, where Henri let them know that he had an ulterior motive for bringing them there. And mentioned that his master wanted him to kidnap Vala. As you were all kind of discussing everything, you suddenly felt this strange ripping sensation and were pulled through to time and space and whatever to a location underground that none of you know where it is. But in front of you was this vampire lord that had this strange ability none of you had ever witnessed before. He first used it against Vala, and actually, almost like a puppeteer, controlled every aspect of her to the point where he made her curtsy until she blew out her knee. And after having a bit of a back and forth with him, he eventually had you taken away to a room full of cages. While you were there, you saw another figure in a cage further away that you struck up a conversation with. And you noticed this is something odd about her. Her mannerisms were strange, and you also noticed that you recognized her for the face. It was the face that both Vala and Henri had seen in a vision previously. And so as you spoke more, suddenly she appeared in your cage. You don't know how. And she mentioned that the crystal, or what is it you carry, Vala?
Crystal.
Yeah, the crystal Vala carries with her as a focus was given to her by this figure, and then the vampire lord came back and got very upset. She disappeared back to her cell and then was taken away. And that's where we're going to start today. And I have a surprise for you guys. This is the area you are currently in. If you would like to drag your figures, you can place them anywhere in that cage.
I see a black giant square.
The lower right-hand corner, there's an area that is revealed.
Okay. It was zoomed really far in for me. That was...
Yeah, you may want to just zoom out a little bit. It looks very, very pixelated when you get too far in.
Yes. Are we? Sorry, I missed which cage we were in.
Yeah, which one?
In the far left, that one. So any one of those squares that the cage is on counts as inside the cage. I'm still learning RPG makers, so it will be somewhat simplistic, but it
Okay.
looks cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, now I also have a map cam for the audience. So when you guys are watching, and we do have some action happening on the battle map, then now I can show you guys that.
Nice.
All right, go ahead.
I like it. It has a very Zelda feel to it.
Yeah, I'm rather, and that's just the default stuff. I haven't even gotten into all the assets you can download for it. So hopefully it will make it so I can actually make maps, because the hand drawing is never happening.
Right.
All right, so you guys are still in your cage. You're now in a very large empty room.
Okay, guys. I have a really bad idea.
How bad?
So bad.
Fire.
Not immediately. We'll put it this way. It's so bad I'm bringing it to the group first. So we know one vampire is bad, right?
Usually. Only one of them. Yeah.
Well, I'm just okay. You guys know there's another vampire trying to find me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's been following me around. I don't know if he can hear me right now or not. But basically, what if if I tried to reach out to him and see if he could help us?
I mean, if it doesn't work, one of your problems might be solved.
I mean, if the two vampires go at it, whichever one remains standing is going to be weaker. Might be easier for us to kill.
Aren't you like magicless at the moment?
I am, but I don't think he is. I'm just saying, he's been able to find me before. It's a long shot. I thought I would put it, see if anybody has any objections.
No,
Or a,
really.
nah, we don't need to try that. Or a, Vala, are you insane?
I think it is a perfectly sane idea given the circumstances. It probably would be my first one, but I mean that awful gamble.
It is
I
definitely...
mean, what if they won't team up?
I'm not sure yet.
How would you even contact this vampire?
Well, I mean, so right now I am wearing the ring of mind shielding, so I don't think he can read my mind. But he's been in there before, so...
Well, if you reach out, you can let people in. That's what I got
Right.
from it when I had it.
Right. So, I'm... Like I said, it's a long shot. Probably won't work, but...
On a side note, does anybody have an extra dagger or something? Because I have no weapons, no magic.
I have a few daggers.
I will gladly take one, so I have at least something.
I have a dagger. Here is my dagger.
Vala, one thing as you're pulling the dagger out, you almost didn't notice until you were handing it to Henri. you've been in jail cells before,
Mhm.
quite a few of them. You've never had weapons on you, ever.
Right.
Even when you were just kind of being put in the drunk tank because they couldn't charge you, they took anything you could use to hurt people. But all of you guys have literally everything. They have not taken a single thing off you, even left you with your casting focuses or
Right.
foci.
Did we take a long rest at the end of last session? I can't remember. 'Cause I know we were
We
forced to
did.
sleep.
We're
Right.
we're starting up just before
okay.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's the end of the night that you guys first arrived there.
All right. So yeah, I'll hand him my dagger and say, "Here you are." It's a little bit plain, but it's saved my life a couple of times.
Let me double check. It's better than me punching for 0 damage.
I mean,
I'm just getting this image of Henri as a llama going, now I feel bad. Bad llama.
One day I'll
Yeah.
play a high strength character, okay, guys?
yes. Just remember, stick them with a pointy end. I do also have a crossbow.
Are you kidding me? I spent like 30 years in a temple. I don't think I would know how to use that.
I do have my own sword.
I think I'm good with the dagger for now.
Here, if you can't use magic, and I hand him my hand axe for your other hand.
Oh, jeez, that's a strength one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't add your modifier anyway.
Technically, I also have a rapier.
Yeah, but you don't have magic, so.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm fine
Yeah.
with the dagger. The dagger's at least small enough to where I figure I could feasibly make use of it.
Right.
So, what are we doing? Sleeping?
As you guys are speaking, you notice the kind of ambient light from the sconces along the wall suddenly dims significantly. There's still a little bit of light, so you can make out rough shapes and where the walls are, but it's now really, really dark. You kind of get the idea that might be lights out.
Got it.
Mm.
All right. Well, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll give it a try. And I will find a corner, lie down, and I'd like to do two things. One, just on an off chance, I want to try to. I want to. Oh, screw it! I'll do it. I want to try focusing on the crystal
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on the image of the woman that I had seen,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to try to hum a little hymn to myself and try to inspire her with it.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right.
Just because, I mean, I know none of my magic is working, but I know in the past that behaved a little bit differently, so maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I will do that.
So as you're sitting there trying to kind of influence the arcane through your voice, have you done that as you've done countless times? You feel this like you have a giant ball and chain, and you're just trying to move forward, but you're being stopped, and you keep trying to drag it. So as you force the magic into your words, it feels somewhat different, but then it just stops.
Hmm.
Like you're aiming for something that is not there.
Okay. That was worth a try. And then I will, using the ring, I will open my mind,
Okay.
and I will start singing to myself, Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer true. And then when I get the end, I will say, Leopold, if you're listening, if you can get me out of this, I'll do whatever you want.
Oh dear.
And then I will close off the ring. And I'll close off my
Okay.
mind. And then I will try to sleep.
All right. And anyone else want to do anything?
I'm just laying down.
Okay.
I'm just sitting in a corner and closing my eyes.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So as you guys fall asleep, it's a rough night. Again, the place you're in is obviously carved out of stone, but the floor itself is polished. If you've ever dealt with like polished concrete or anything, where they sealed it with something, and it makes for a very hard surface. And the only thing you have to lean up against in this cage are the bars themselves. So that alone would make for a very uncomfortable night. However, all of you have this kind of restlessness you feel. You can't seem to find a comfortable position. Every time you fall asleep, you'll hear a noise and wake up again. It's like your senses have been dialed up to 11. And by the time you think morning comes around, because the lights kind of flare up and light the room better again, none of you are feeling remarkably well rested. I would like constitution saves from everybody.
Alright.
Seems fitting. I don't even need to say my result. I'm just throwing it out there. There's a signed pair of shoes that have Will Wheaton's autograph in the same room as me. Just leave it at that.
Damn.
A con save, right?
Mm-hmm.
20.
All right, Vavala.
14.
Okay, Lillian.
18.
All right, and then we know Henri. So Argenta Vala Lillian, you're sore in places, but for the most part, you're fine. Henri, you get the effect of a long rest, but you have one level of exhaustion.
Alrighty.
So all of your full hit points have all your spells back that are useless.
Yeah.
And again, you're in this very blank room with the three cages. The cage that you're in does have a single door that has a locking mechanism on it. But beyond that,
I like turn my back towards the group and I'm just like, do I have one of those weird things in my neck?
I will look at his neck. Her neck.
okay. So looking over, I have to remember now. Last week, Argenta, you tried casting some stuff and got caught, right?
I cure wounds somebody. He like crumpled to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I think you cure wounds Vala after she failed some check because of trying to use magic or something.
Yeah, they tried pulling the thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I got a death saving throw. A failed death saving throw.
So, Vala, as you look, you don't see one in the same spot yours is.
Okay. Looks fine to me. I don't see one.
Alright.
If you want to do a more thorough check, that would be an investigation check.
Absolutely. Oh, that'd be a 10.
Okay. So as you kind of just brush up Argenta's chair and hair, look at the back of her neck. There's nothing there, but you're like, maybe he hit it somewhere else. So Argenta, as you're just kind of sitting there holding your hair up, you suddenly feel Vala start like shifting your clothes around and like pushing you and stuff and trying to look at every odd angle she can, and you still find nothing. But you do notice quite a few scars along Argenta's back, a couple of which look really recent, like scars that you think you should have seen her get, but you don't remember seeing those wounds.
Okay, I'll, as I'm kind of helping her adjust, I'll be like, are those new?
Or what new?
There are, scars on your back.
Do I know about this or no?
You have scars. I mean, you're a mercenary.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of goes with the territory.
I mean, I've always had scars. Is there anything unusual about them?
They just seem recent. Fresh. Do they, like, I mean, are they bleeding, or are they just red?
No, they just look new. Like the rest of the scars have obviously been there for years, and you have your own, scars from everything from, shaving incidents to, battle. But these, they're slightly inflamed and slightly raised, so they look fairly recent. But you noticed when you kind of brushed your hand over them, Argenta didn't flinch or even, react to you to touching them any more than she did any of her other scars.
I don't know, they just look new. Very angry. I mean, do they look, I'm assuming they look like a bladed weapon, like a knife or something.
More of a tear, maybe a claw or a scratch of some. They're not super clean like you would get with a blade.
Were you attacked recently?
I mean, I've been with you guys, so yes.
That's true. When we were going through that ceremony, were you attacked by by the beast?
I mean, yes, but maybe part of this place. A lot of weird shit has been happening to us.
Here, and I'll like pull my shirt up and I'll be like, are there any scars on my back?
I look at her back.
Just around where she has the thing in her neck.
Nothing unusual, just the thing in your neck, and just like the thing in Henri's neck.
Can I fire the firework by the part of the phone?
So, what are you trying to identify?
Like, you said they were firework. problems?
Yeah.
Can I identify what creature my nose?
Sure. Roll me a survival check.
Uh, 13.
So looking at them and having dealt with claws and bites and other things like that, they don't really fit any animals offhand. Whatever made the scars obviously was not a sharp weapon that made a clean cut, but it doesn't. The shape is wrong for like a claw or a bite or something. It's too erratic for that.
Those are with scars. They almost look like problems, but I can't identify what kind of creature might have caught them.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I wasn't per se attacked, but there was that weird thing where I almost died to a portal.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
And
As
then,
you guys are discussing this, you hear the door to the north start clicking, like someone's opening locks or something, and it opens, and two figures come through. One is the young lady you saw with the vampire yesterday, that had led you here, and the other is just a very large humanoid figure, but the proportions are very wrong, almost cartoonish, where the legs themselves are relatively small, very normal kind of human-like legs. But once you get to the torso, the chest is massive. The skeletal, just the frame, widens significantly, and then both arms are just immense, looking closer to like an orcish muscle definition, but even larger than that, almost ogre-like. And the face is obviously human, but it looks almost stretched and malformed, almost no neck, and he's just kind of standing there with this scowl on his face next to the woman. She comes over to the edge of the cage, and I can't remember. Did she tell you guys her name last session, or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I
I don't think we have.
So she comes forward and says, "We were never properly introduced. I'm Kira, right hand of the Dark Lord. You'll do what I tell you when I tell you. Is that understood?"
Not real good at doing what I'm told.
She just looks at you with this expression that is completely void of emotion. She says, "We have fixes for that."
Mm.
Gruel and the creature standing next to her just kind of bring that one. And she points at Vala. And she waves her hand, and you watch this very intricate locking mechanism just go. And the door opens, and he immediately fills the entire doorway. And he reaches down and grabs Vala by not just like the scruff of her shirt, but just the entire front of her shirt, and kind of rips her up off her feet.
Hey, do you know how much I paid for this?
And as he just kind of looks at you, again, you see this expression where there's no emotion whatsoever, but there is a little drool.
Oh.
And he just looks at you. He looks back at her, and she just shakes her head, turns around, and starts walking. And he puts you down enough so your feet kind of touch the floor, and then just starts dragging you off.
Is the door still open?
As he walks through it, the door shuts behind him, and you see the woman just make this slight gesture with her hand. And you hear all the locks get set back in place. Anyone want to do anything, or say anything as they take Vala away?
I'm just gonna try and, casually bend the bars of the cage, see if it happens, see if it doesn't.
Okay, make me a strength check.
Straight strength?
Mm-hmm.
22?
Okay, as you sit there and start pulling the bars, you notice something peculiar. Even super tough steel or even adamantine, if it has a flexibility to it, that's why it's so resilient. This, as you pull on them, you might as well be pulling on a rock. It's not moving at all.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even have the give you would expect a metal cage to have. It's almost like you're pulling onto two immovable rods.
I'm not going to say or do anything because I imagine I'm pretty exhausted.
As I'm doing that, I'm just like, what are you going to do with her? She's just being sassy. We don't really have a choice to listen or not.
And as Garul takes Vala through the door, Kira turns to you and goes, I will do nothing to her. The master, on the other hand, well. And she goes around and closes the door behind her. Vala, as you get taken out into the hallway, you see a door opposite you, and you're in kind of a cramped hallway, but then you feel a tap on the side of your head, and it's like the lights go out.
Oh, good. I can catch up on my beauty sleep then.
You hear from beside you, you have not earned the trust to be able to see our wonderful abode. Perhaps with time you will earn that privilege. And you again get kind of carried. You feel the direction change every so often. You hear other people either passing you or getting passed by Gruel. And for a brief moment, you do smell something akin to like cooking meats and maybe like something baking, but it's very, very short.
Okay.
You do go through a number of doors until finally you are in a different room that looks very familiar to you. Which one of these is you again?
I am the one that just escaped.
Gotcha. So you're now in the room you first appeared in. You see the very large throne where you were forced to curtsy before. And on it, you can see the vampire just sitting there, staring at you. One hand, or his head resting on one hand, and he just stares at you for a little bit.
Well, I can do this all day, but surely you must have some more important things to be doing right now. What with your dark lordingness? Perhaps some puppies to torture?
You think very highly of your wit, don't you?
No, I just hate awkward silences.
It's a shame, really. If it weren't for the fact that you're just so worthless, it boggles the mind. Really does. Because something so pathetic and just pointless was able to sneak around behind my back and to take what is mine.
Really? Who has a high esteem of himself now?
Well, when you are vastly superior to everyone around you, is it really narcissism or just a fact? I mean, you don't blame the shepherd for thinking he's above his sheep, do you?
I'm gonna so enjoy watching you die.
Let's see. That's the interesting thing, because you've gone and tried to steal the ability to not die, to control death. And yet here you are talking about me to dying. It's just...
I think you must have me confused with someone else. Someone else devilishly good looking, but still. Death is a part of the universe. It's the one constant. We all die.
Oh,
Mortals, vampires, we all die.
you may die. When I decide I want you to die, you will. Do not have any misconceptions about that. However, I have not, will not, won't ever. Death has no control over me. The Dark Lady
Um,
For me, doesn't exist. She is
um,
a figurehead of a false religion, as far
hmm.
as I am concerned.
Aren't you undead? Doesn't that mean you're not really alive? You're dead already.
No, see, I was undead. And then well, you know what I just discovered. See, the funny thing is, you somehow tried to steal it, but your friend has no idea. So not only did you try to take what is rightfully mine, but you didn't even feel the need to tell your friend that you already had what he so desperately desired.
I'm confused.
Fine. We'll go at this a slightly different way. And he starts walking down, coming to the circle that, as you look around, you now realize you are bound somehow to this circle. You're not sure why, but when you try to raise your hands, you don't see anything there. But you try to raise them, and they stop at a certain point, like they're chains on them. The same is true about your legs. Like you are somehow chained to this circle through some unknown means.
Hmm.
So he continues walking closer to you and goes, so, let's start with when did you steal what is rightfully mine?
Yes. Go on.
When did you steal what is rightfully mine? How long have you had this? And he reaches down and he takes the crystal on your neck and kind of cups it gently and then grabs onto it and just yanks it off.
That was a gift.
Spoken like a true thief.
I've stolen many things, many hearts across the land. That was a gift. I didn't know from who it was, or who had given it to me. For a long time, I misunderstood. Now I'm beginning to see.
See, this is the problem I have, though, because this is mine. There's no way you could have gotten it because she can't leave here.
I think you underestimate a power, friend.
You really have no idea what this is to do you.
I mean, I have an idea.
One thing at a time, and he gets really close again. When did you get this?
Many years ago.
When? And he gets very, very close to the point where you can smell his breath, and it's strange. Like it smells like breath, but there's this kind of a hint, almost a musk to it. And you actually start feeling yourself slightly drawn towards the scent. You start kind of, your muscles start to calm down. You have to actively fight against this just feeling of submission.
I am going to lie and tell him it's been about 3 months.
Okay, make a deception check.
Come on. I'm a liar. My pants are always on fire.
What do we got?
And with that, a natural 20, so 28 total.
Whoa.
Because my pants are on fire, baby.
Damn. So he sits there and he looks at you. And he immediately steps back a little bit. And you watch him just kind of wave his hand, and the door on the... just realized I'm still on the map. Sorry, people watching. The door on the east wall opens, and this Kira comes in, and he goes over and speaks very quietly to her, and then she runs off. See, that wasn't that hard. See, I'm not an evil person. I'm not this horrible, murderous dictator. I'm simply superior, and I'm trying to take my rightful place at the top. And in order for me to do that, well, sometimes I have to use some less than pleasant methods. But I don't want to do that. And as long as you and I just keep working together, both of us are going to feel a lot better about this. So my next question: how did you find my lair?
I don't know that I ever did.
You said you got this 3 months ago.
Yes. I won it in a bar bet.
So you're trying to claim someone else stole it from me. That's very clever. Immensely clever.
Far too clever for me to be lying about it. I couldn't make something like that up.
Yes, I won it in a bar. Very far-fetched. Nothing ever happens in bars or taverns. Oh, no.
Do you know what I do for a living? I spend an awful lot of time in bars and taverns.
That is my point. The idea that just because you got it in a bar means you couldn't have made it up means no, that was a fabrication. You know exactly how you got it. You know it was not in a tavern.
No.
So I'm going to ask you one last time. And if you lie to me again, then we're just going to have to go somewhere different.
I told you. I was in a bar. I saw a man.
And
a little
as you're
dirty.
sitting there, and I need a the dex saving throw with the disadvantage.
Well, luckily my pants are on fire, so... Ooh. Ooh. Dex saving, 12.
So as you're sitting there and trying to kind of reason with him, you see him just stick out an arm, and bolts of lightning shoot from it, going into your body, and all of your muscls tense as once, feeling like they're trying to rip themselves from your skeleton. You take 31 points of lightning damage. And after he's done, your skin is kind of smoking from the burn. He leans down really close and goes, "That was just the beginning." And you watch him wave his hand, and the door opens again, and this time it's Gruel, who comes out, and the Dark Lord just looks at him and kind of nods, and Gruel, seemingly knowing what he's talking about, takes one of each of your arms, kind of turns you around and puts you back to back, and splays your arms over his shoulders, just shy of dislocating them, but to the point where there's no possible way you can do anything. Your legs are kind of kicking up in the air a little bit because the angle is lifting your legs up, and you're in a fair amount of uncomfort. It's not like full-on pain, but it is very uncomfortable. And suddenly it's your vision goes out again. And you again are being taken through various doors and places, and eventually you are in another room. You look around and you see piles of bone, all around you. You can see these two pedestals with these large red spheres that are kind of crackling with energy on either side of you. Otherwise, the room itself is fairly nondescript. And you can see hold the please. You can see the Dark Lord in the room with you. And he kind of looks around and he goes, "Brilliant, isn't it? Took me a while to get everything the way I wanted it, but now it's just perfect. It really is." And he flicks his hand. You see this bolt of red light comes shooting out, and I need another dex save, please.
Okay. Better, 15.
Okay. As you're sitting there, you feel your back erupt with flames as an explosion happens behind you. You take 17 points of fire damage as the flames just engulf you, and you start understanding how much fun it was to be the people you fought with.
Oh.
Little does he know she enjoys this.
Oh, that looks so painful. I should... Here, let me... And he points his hand, and you feel this blast of cold air, and I need a Constitution saving throw, please.
Constitution is 17.
Hold, please.
Holding.
Okay, that's what it is.
Way ahead of you.
All right, there we go. As the cold blasts your body and you feel your bones themselves start to freeze and crack underneath it. You take 51 points of cold damage.
With 17.
Yep.
Okay, I'm down.
Okay. You, as your breath freezes as it's coming out, you drop down, and as the light begins to dim, you eventually fall unconscious. And there's nothing. You're in this kind of endless black void. I forgot I've got music and everything for this. And suddenly you see this light in front of you. It starts off very, very dim, grows brighter and brighter and brighter. We'll use that as a marker. You start to feel the warmth start to fill your body. You can feel your arms and the legs start to kind of unfreeze themselves. You open your eyes. You you see you see a familiar face. It's porcelain white with these ruby red lips, but the face itself has this look of immense sorrow on it. And you've had these visions before, but as you focus on it, you suddenly realize the face is. This isn't a vision. The face is literally right next to you. You recovered 10 hit points.
Okay.
And as you sit there, you see the figure you saw before. But just like the other people you've seen, her face, her eyes are devoid of emotion. The rest of her face has this kind of sorrowful expression, but her eyes are just empty. And she slowly backs up to standing next to the Dark Lord and goes, "See? Wasn't that fun?" I know the first time it's a little overwhelming, so you should probably try it again. The wave of his hand, you see in front of you this massive figure appear, and you're trying to figure out what it is. It looks larger than life and is radiating energy, and as you look closer and closer, you suddenly realize it's Leopold. And he reaches down and grabs you by the neck with a hand much larger than it should be. And he lifts you into the air, and you can feel your lungs starting to burn, and you can feel the bones in your neck start to crack and crunch as he just keeps squeezing. And suddenly you start to black out. I need intelligence saving throw.
11?
Yep. And as you get there, I cannot remember how much damage Phantasmal Force does. I didn't want to look that up for me because my book is behind me.
I believe it's just a D6.
It says, I believe it's a second level spell.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second.
Yeah, it's a D6.
Just 1d6?
Yeah.
Alright. And then enough. So again, you take 13 damage as you feel yourself just being strangled to death and collapse again, only moments later to have that same experience of a bright light and then the warmth. As you wake up, you kind of feel your neck, and there's no bruises. There's no damage whatsoever. And you see the Dark Lord standing there. See? Isn't this fun? It really is a strange experience being taken that close to death, only to be ripped back to life. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's better than listening to you prattle on.
See, you still think that you are in control when it is actually me. And as he does that, you feel, you see him just extend his hands, and these bolts of green energy just start pummeling you over and over again. And you lose consciousness again. And this goes on for an unknown amount of time. After the seventh or eighth time, you lose track of how many times you've been almost dead, only to be brought back and then taken back. And it's over and over. And the weirdest thing about it, he hasn't asked any questions since you've been here.
Yeah, no, you're so kind and benevolent and, yeah, no. Little tip for you. When somebody says they're in control, when someone's in control, they don't need to say
that
they're in control.
moment before you can finish it, all sound just stops. He goes, I didn't tell you could speak, but you can't hear it. You're just seeing his lips move.
Right, I start
for
making
the damn ring.
I start making a jerk-off motion.
And you lose consciousness again as a fireball erupts on you. This goes on for a remarkably long time. The rest of you, while this is happening, what would you guys like to be doing?
I have my mug out from my canteen mess hall kit, and I'm just ringing it along the iron bars.
I'm sure the rest of the party appreciates that.
Yeah.
The rest of you guys, at this point, it's been a couple hours, and you guys have gotten nothing. No one has come in or out of this room. Nothing.
I would just be reading the prayer book out of just a comforting mechanism at this point.
Hey, Henry.
Yeah, what's up?
If that woman comes here alone, hot take, I shoot her twice with a short bow for no damn reason.
Sure.
I
I
won't
mean,
stop, yeah.
just speed up the inevitable. Why not?
I
I don't know how to get out of here, so it's only a matter of time.
I don't know how to get out of here either. The only one that can pick locks has just been kind of non-existent.
I meant out of this place in general. Because every time I've been here, I have no clue how I get in or out. So,
Well,
there's that.
That's not my
I
fault.
mean, whatever the why
It's not mine anymore.
As
As far as I know, I'm useless.
I'm just gonna try and open the door to the cage, just to if it is locked or not.
Yeah, you try the door. It's definitely locked.
Well, that's my main method. You got any?
Yeah.
You do see the locking mechanism itself is made of a different metal than the cage itself.
Is it solid? Like I'll test it.
It's solid. It looks probably made of steel. You think?
Weird question, but how much width is in between the bars?
About five feet.
In between the bars?
I thought you meant the cages. But between the bars, it's about I want to say eight-ish inches.
Okay. I was just saying if it was, coincidentally my scrawny body could fit through, but no.
No, little too thin for even like a child would not be able to get through.
I mean, the only things I have on me that could potentially help you, Argenta, are lots of candles and incense.
You can
Unless wax can do anything.
And
Just because I will light one of the candles. Just because.
Henri, can you not hear Lillian?
Nope, I guess not. Let me reconnect.
Yeah, go ahead. We had it working for like a minute and a half.
Oh, I hear everything.
Cool. Henri, can you hear Lillian?
Yeah, now I can.
Cool. All right.
Just for the hell of it, because I have one, I'm just gonna pull out my flail and I'm gonna smack the locking mechanism once. Oh god.
Right. So as you sit there, making a attack roll for me.
Good. My dice go crazy. What is my 20?
Okay. Go ahead and roll the damage for rolling.
Sure. $11.
Right. So as you sit there, you kind of wind up and you bring your flail down on it. The flail impacts and ricochets off like you would expect it would. But when you look at the lock itself, there's no damage to it. When you look at the flail itself, you kind of look and again, there's no scuff mark. Generally, steel against steel, especially sharp pointy thing like the end of a flail, is going to scratch and leave a mark. But this isn't, and yet you know you hit something.
I'm just gonna light a candle just directly above the lock so the wax just drips onto it. That's the only thing I literally have that I can do.
All right. Yeah, the wax kind of drips down onto the lock itself. Not all of it gets on the lock. Some of it gets on the bars. You notice the stuff that gets on the bars and nearby kind of beads up and just drips off completely. Whereas on the lock itself, it acts like you would expect melted wax to act. It leaves a little trail and drips down.
Okay.
I'll hit like the bar of the cage to see if that does anything else that's different at all.
Okay. As you hit the cage bar, this time it definitely hits, and as you bring it back, there are scuff marks on your flail.
That is a weird material. I pointed the lock.
Now, I know that as we hear your mouth, right? So, let's see what happens. I take out my sword, cut my hand, and activate my radiant light.
Okay. She guys watch as Lillian kind of nicks her hand and her blade erupts in this very bright, radiant light.
I so immediately buy her magic is affected. And I try to hit the rock with my now growing strength.
Okay. As the blade gets closer, go ahead and make me an attack roll.
Uh, well,
Okay. So as you bring it close, and the blade is shining, you see a reflection of the light off of something other than the lock. Like it's not shaped correctly for it to be the lock. And you do impact something. When you bring it away, the blade is completely unarmed. And it seems like the lock is also.
so, so when I saw my blade reflected off of something,
Yeah.
but it still impacted, but there were obviously something over it.
Yeah, but basically, again, having used a blade of light fairly often, you understand, like you've kind of gotten used to how light reflects and the things like that,
Yeah.
just because you've had to do it. And when it got close, the light reflected wrong is the best way to say it. You know, the direction the light reflected off of it shouldn't have been possible based on the shape of the lock. It was more like it was reflecting off something round instead of square. And when you impact, just because of the impact itself and the fact that you have a blade of light, there's kind of a flash when the impact happens that makes it you can't really watch what it's hitting. But
Well, you know what Vala always says when I pull out a torch and I light it and I hold it up to the lock to see this weird reflection that she's talking about.
I think we have some of that magical bullshit going on here.
And Argenta, as you just hold the torch up to it, nothing really happens. You're not seeing any awkward reflections or anything.
Hmm.
You do notice the lock itself seems to get a little warm as you put the fire near it, but the bars don't absorb any heat.
Okay, I'll touch the lock. Does it feel like how it's shaped, or?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like an illusion or anything, where you're feeling something that is different from your scene. No, it feels as same.
I hold my. I mean, it's going to be awkward the size of it, but I hold my sword up to see if I can figure out what the exact shape of whatever I see. Like,
Okay.
using it over a slow walk.
Okay. So as you bring your sword close to it, it works as normal. The light reflects where it's supposed to reflect.
I just start cooking the lock under the torch, over the torch. Look, I don't have any ideas.
Don't
I
know
think
if it'll
it
work,
might
but I'm
be.
gonna.
I mean, do you know anything about magical period?
No, not at all.
What were you gonna try on me? I pull the torch away.
Seeing as how I actually had to sleep last night and wasn't able to do anything, I'll try and activate my ghostly gaze, and if it works, I'll just see if any bars look different from the inside, but I don't think it will.
The bars don't have an inside. Like
Well,
even.
I didn't know if it was going to work because I don't know about any of my
Oh
invocations.
no! That's it does work.
Oh,
And that's the thing that it's very weird to you because everything has an inside. It might be solid, but everything has an inside. The bars don't.
I'm going to look at the lock, the floor, just everything I can within this 1 minute.
Now the it just basically is X-ray vision, right?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I just can see through solid objects to a range of 30 feet is what it says.
Okay. So yeah, you look at the lock and it's a lock. You do notice as you're looking through it, it's fuzzy. Like there's something on, like you're looking through glasses and there's something on your lenses. There's something whenever you look at that spot. You can still see through it.
I don't see anything when I look at the floor underneath the cage.
It seems like it's just rock as far as you can see.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that worked. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do anything else, but I can still see through objects.
And that's
every hour.
Are you casting a spell, or that's just an ability type thing, right?
Yeah, it's just an ability, an invocation I can do once per rest.
All right, so yeah, you do see that it's around the lock. It's kind of fuzzy in a kind of very oblong spherical shape. Like there's something wrapped around the lock.
Yeah, so I relay that to them. I'm kind of weirded out that worked, to be honest.
So the bars have no inside. I don't know what that means, though.
Yeah.
As you guys are speaking, you hear the door outside start clicking, and it opens, and you see Gruel with a figure kind of tossed over his shoulder. He comes over, and shortly behind him is Kira. She waves her hand, and the door opens, and you see Vala just flop onto the ground, almost lifeless. You guys can smell this smell of like burnt hair and a little bit of ozone. You guys can see little things that look almost like minor frostbite and some burns on her. Like she just looks horrible. Kira closes the door, and Gruel and Kira walk out of the room.
Kira, you will die, I say as they're leaving. And once they're out, I touch Vala and I try to cast Cure Wounds.
Okay. As you do, you do feel the magic kind of go through your fingers into Vala. Go ahead and roll.
Where's my D8? There's one. Vala, you heal 9 hit points.
Oh, how many hit points was that prior to that? 10?
You were at 0 when you came in.
Oh, okay. I'll just open my eyes and go, oh, that was not pleasant.
What happened?
I just kind of like take a moment to like just lay there. He asked questions. I like reach. Is my focus? I'm assuming my focus is gone.
Yes.
He took my focus. He said he said I had taken it, that I had somehow snuck in here and stolen it from him. And then when I told him that I got it 3 months ago and that I had won it in a bar bet, he took me into a room and then tried to murder me many times over, with frost and fire and electricity, and would always bring me to the brink and then bring me back and ask no more questions.
So he's not only a vampire, but he's also a vampire with psychotic, narcissistic delusions.
Yes.
Fucking fantastic.
Although
both of them.
Although he said that I had, when I pointed out that he would die, and he said he had defeated death, I tried pointing out that he was undead, and he said no, he had defeated that, and that he was alive again. Which I think makes him not a vampire, but I don't know.
He's a vampire. I don't care what he says.
Yeah.
I mean, he did give me whatever powers I do have, so I can see something to that reason.
Yes, and you have powers that involve being kind of dead. He's an undead.
Well, but now wait a minute. Do vampires... I didn't know vampires were able to give powers like that.
To be fair, most of my powers deter undead. It's kind of the opposite.
Yes, but you don't sleep.
Yeah, that I do enjoy, actually. You get more done, surprisingly.
And you see, deterring death is literally what undeath do all the time.
Yeah, but I mean... Look, Henri certainly has an undead aesthetic, I will give you that. But I can't think. I need a moment. And I just lay down again.
As your head just touches the floor, you guys again hear the click, and you see a different person you haven't seen before. This is another woman. She has jet black, dark hair with a single streak of ebony red running through it. She has really dark eye makeup on, making her eyes look almost sunken in. And again, this very ruby red lips that contrast pretty brightly with her much darker skin tone. And she walks in and points to Henri. You are going to come with me now. The Dark Lady, and try this again. The Dark Lord wants to see you.
Oh, it's another one I have to kill. Too fun.
I get up without questioning.
See, I'm not like the others.
What would they all say?
I've been with the Dark Lord since the beginning.
Then you have to die harder. I'll remember that. No one will recognize your corpse.
Do I recognize her, Jody?
Yes. She times that you've met with your master before, Kira is there every so often, but she generally tends to like come in and out of the room when you have conversations. This woman, whom you've only ever heard her referred to as L. She tends to be up on the dais with the Dark Lord. A lot of times you'll see her kind of hanging on him, either at his feet, kind of caressing his legs, or next to him, kind of caressing his chest. Very, very, very familiar mannerisms. But compared to everyone else you've seen, her eyes are not devoid of emotion. You can see happiness and contempt, a little bit of everything that you would see in a normal human being as she's speaking.
Yeah, I get up without any fuss whatsoever and just go to the door.
Okay. And she waves her hand and the door opens.
I leave my backpack with all my incense and stuff because I don't see a use for that.
And the door closes behind you, and instead of like leading you, she just kind of turns around and walks through the door.
I follow.
All right. As you come out, you again see a hallway with a door directly across from you, and then to the east. We can switch over here. You can see the hallway continues to go, and she continues walking to the east to this kind of larger room. You see the room itself is obviously like a mess hall or something like that. She continues going. When she gets to the top of the room, hangs a left through a door, and you go through a couple more hallways and continue going until you get back to the room that you originally met the Dark Lord. This is the room that you generally always met him in. You would come in on this teleportation circle, and then you would give your report, and sometimes you would head to the other room. There's a room with like the beds, like a dormitory type thing. So sometimes you would go there, but a lot of times you'd come here, give your report, get whatever praise or punishment he wanted to give, and then you would be teleported out using the teleportation circle. You hadn't before seen the rest of the place you were in, but now you can see the Dark Lord on there, and you can see Elle is up there. Immediately comes in before you, and she gets up there. And she's like combing his hair and straightening his clothes out. It looks like he obviously had just gotten finished doing something strenuous, because she's doing a fair amount of work to get him back to his presentable self. So as you come in, he looks at Elle, kind of nods, and you see something that you haven't seen at all thus far here, which is she doesn't immediately do what she's told. She looks at him and gets this kind of look of surprise. She starts to speak, and he holds up a finger, and you see this kind of like anger and resentment in her eyes, and she huffs off out of the room. Good help is so hard to find. Wouldn't you say, Henri?
I mean, I've never needed anyone's help, so I wouldn't know personally.
Well, you need my help. Obviously, I mean, without me, you're quite literally nothing. You have no power. You have no purpose. You would still be that snot-nosed little whiny boy if I hadn't turned you into something incredible. And yet, this is how you thank me. I asked for something incredibly simple. Bring me the girl. Now, you've done this before. Many times. You've never had an issue with it before. So why was this time different?
Well, she was the only one who didn't scream at the sight of me, accepted me for who I was after what you did, and there was some comfort in that.
I didn't realize you were so gullible. Don't you get it? Do you know what people like her do? She saw you for your power. She saw my power and used you for it. That's why she accepted you. You were useful to her because you gave her what she had always wanted, my power. That's why she came in here and stole what was rightfully mine. Don't you see that? She's not your friend. She's just someone using you. And once you are no longer useful to her, she will throw you away. And he gets up from his chair and he slowly walks towards you. And he places a hand on your shoulder. Have I ever thrown you away? Have I ever done anything that would make you think I don't care?
Technically, no.
See? So why do you have loyalty to this person who is just using you? When I have turned you into something great.
I don't know. I guess I kind of miss that that feeling of having people care for you after you took them away from me.
Well, your life is one of solitude. I know it's hard for you. I get that. I understand. But it's necessary. You know, I can't walk around outside of my kingdom here. You are my eyes my ears out there, and because of that, you have to be alone. But if you were to come back here, you know the people here care for you. Kira misses you every single time you leave. It has taken everything I am to console her while you are away. You have family here.
I don't say anything.
And now he turns around and walks back up to his throne. You know, I love you like a son. But what you did, you deserve to be punished for your own good. However, I am a merciful Lord. I think there is a way for you to learn your lesson without me having to punish you again. Because I don't want to punish you, but you have to learn your lesson. So this is how you're going to learn your lesson. Tomorrow, when I bring that girl out to answer for her crimes, you are going to conduct the interview under my watchful eye. And if you do this, if you can get her to admit what she did wrong, to tell us how she did it, so we can ensure that it never happens again, well, then you obviously have learned your lesson. So are you going to do this for me, or am I going to need to punish you?
We'll see, but I'm sure you're aware of how she is.
Oh. They're all like that at first. I can't tell you how many times I had to question Kira before she finally saw the light. Well, anyway, this has been a good talk. I'm happy that you see eye to eye with me. I was worried that these bad people had influenced you. And he kind of looks at you deeply, almost like he's staring through you. They haven't influenced you, have they?
I'm going to attempt to lie, but I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to say no, but clearly they have.
Okay, go ahead and make your deception check.
Oh my god, I'm going to burn his shoes.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Well, since it's disadvantage, it says high was a 23, low is a 9. It's with a natural 1.
Wow. So, you sit there and you just fight as hard as you can to get out this word no. And he sits back, and there's a little smile on his face. He goes, good. Means a lot to me. I would hate to have to replace you. Now, we can't have you just going back, though. They will. Well, they may suspect something. So, and he extends his hand. I need a dex save, please.
Okay, this is the third one in a row. I'm done. I'm throwing my phone.
Really? Re-roll.
If it is.
Re-roll it. I want to see if it happens again.
Okay, I'm gonna hit reroll. It did come up with natural one, but if it comes up on a fourth time, I don't know. I really believe the curse is real. Okay. That's a natural 20. It's 23.
Oh, not bad.
Only took 3 natural ones.
So you take 14 points of lightning damage as he shoots a bolt of lightning into your chest. You kind of press your hand to the ground to slightly ground yourself, so a lot of it just goes out of you into the ground, but you still get a brunt of it. And you can smell hair burning, and there's that scent of ozone. And he waves his hand afterward. And L comes back in, and he goes, take him back. Put on a little performance. Make it look like he upset me, okay? And she looks at him. Anything for you, darling. And then looks at you. Come with me. And she starts walking again.
Yeah, I called him.
Okay.
This entire time, because I'm in a cage and I literally cannot do anything else, I have just been beating the ever-loving shit out of the lock with my great axe.
All right. So it's been about 10 minutes since he left, and you guys are getting very familiar of the sound of metal impacting a blunt object, as Argenta is just wailing on this lock over and over and over again. And eventually, Argenta, you take the great axe back, and you have completely dulled the blade.
Okay.
The great axe itself now has a minus 2 to damage rolls.
Okay. Until I can get it sharpened or something.
At this point, you've beaten the edge so much that grinding a new edge really would ruin the balance of the axe.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably looking at getting a new axe.
I don't know. I just feel kind of useless when that was cathartic.
Lillian, you were able, since it doesn't have a bright light coming out of it, and he did it for 10 minutes straight, you were able to see as towards the end, as he was impacting, the axe kept stopping short of the lock. It never actually hit the lock.
Yeah.
But it's so close that if it hadn't been for the fact that he did it for 10 minutes straight, you never would have caught it.
Alright. Yeah, my understand. It won't make me believe we're dealing with what you would call minor bullshit. there appears to be some other barrier around
Then we're just
the wall.
whatever. Then he just sits down in the corner.
Ugh, arcane bullshit.
Yeah.
Although,
I'm done with this. I'll take a pact from a fucking demon. I don't care.
I know a guy.
You say that now.
I'm gonna punch Henri.
He's not back yet.
I know.
You're saying that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
As
I
you
mean,
say that, you hear the door start to click open. And you see Henri just get thrown in. Actually getting a little bit of air as he's just thrown in there. And you see the woman come in again. And she goes, "You disrespectful, disgusting. Be glad he wants you alive, or I would end you this very moment." She waves her hand and
I will get up and try to put myself in between them.
well, he's outside the cage.
Then I will just, like, start grabbing the bars and be like, hey, leave my friend alone.
And
You want somebody? You're coming after me.
And I am something for me to help.
Sure, we're rolling in insight check. She looks pissed. Again, having someone that you literally just met, it's a little hard to read them. But there's obviously anger there. As she opens the door with a flick of her wrist, she doesn't wait for you to get in. She comes up, extends her hand, and this blast of cacophonous energy erupts from her, hurting everyone else's ears and throwing you back into the cage itself.
As he's thrown in, can I try and clock him?
Sure. Make me a con save.
Alright. That's gonna be a 13?
As you come up, you get hit by the wave of sonic energy as well, and you are thrown back.
Alright.
You both take... Is it 2d8 for Thunder Wave?
Yeah.
5 thunder damage as you are knocked back into the cage. She flicks her wrist and the door shuts again, and she walks out with the other door locking behind her.
Henri,
Yeah,
does a
probably.
14 hit you?
Oh, wait. If I still have my studded leather, then no.
You're lucky this time.
So, Henri, as you're kind of crumpled on the floor, you see Argenta get up and just start taking a swing at you, and it's all you can do to just move your head as Argenta, you smack the floor next to him and hear a cracking sound as you pop 3 of your knuckles.
I'm used to that.
I'm gonna go to my bag, and I'm gonna pull out one of the prayer books I have, and I'm gonna go to a spot that has a decent amount of room so I can start writing. And I'm not gonna look at the page in fear that, he can see through my eyes kind of thing, and write what's expected of me tomorrow to pass to Bella Raven.
Okay. So to kind of shorten things, he informs you of the conversation he had.
Okay. Oh, that's That's not good.
No.
God, I hate the people here. And
I don't care if they're thralls, they're all going to get their heads separated from their shoulders. Each and every one of them.
I like that idea. But I do have an idea for tonight. Hopefully this will work better than my last one.
Maybe I try to mouse. Maybe we should talk about whatever we're putting out loud.
And I'll just pass the book and whatever, the pen around or whatever, for people to write down or whatever they want to say if they don't want to say it out loud.
So just to make things easier, let's assume the whole conversation is written.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I don't know what he wants to hear. And quite frankly, I don't care. I don't know what he wants. Obviously, he wanted my wizard or my warlock focus, and he has that now. So beyond that, he thinks I came in here and stole it from him. Which is ridiculous. I won it in a bar bet.
If push comes to shove, I'll just say that I took it because it looked pretty. I've been in and out of here. You haven't, clearly.
Clearly.
For 10 minutes, that didn't work. That didn't work.
No, unless you can, magically cast in here, we're not getting out. Unless, I don't know, you can lift up the bottom of the cage, but that's not going to happen.
I try and lift up the bottom of the cage.
Roll for a hernia check.
That's gonna be. I'm assuming it's a con save.
No, it's not the thing. Just make sure you lift with short, jerking motions and take your legs out of the equation completely. It's all in your lower back.
Argenta, you can still heal, right?
I have a spell left, yeah.
Okay, good. And I want to adjust my clothing so that device is laid bare, and then I want to go up to the lock and I want to press the device into the lock.
Ooh. You're peeing on the ignition again.
Yes!
That's not what you meant.
Yeah. I need 3 death saves.
Oh, shit. This is an interesting light socket. Here, let me stick my finger in it. 18.
Okay, one success.
6.
One fail.
Failure.
And technically I have a failure from the last time.
Yep.
Well, don't go back if you got healed a bunch of times. I don't know.
I don't know.
Technically, you have been rendered unconscious and then stabilized again and again, so we can wipe that other one out.
Okay. 10.
Success.
Just barely. So as you do that, your entire head erupts in pain. You literally see red as you actually pop a vein in one of your eyes. And you guys hear the most unearthly scream you've ever heard as Vala just lets out this intense wail of the pain and then collapses. As you guys see her just on the ground, unmoving, you do see a small puddle forming underneath her neck.
I'm gonna place my hand on her head and use my other cure wound spell.
Okay, go and roll your healing.
You only heal 3 hit points this time.
Okay. It's enough to stop this steady flow of blood. As you guys kind of look, you can see the stone thing that's implanted in the back of her head. About half of it has been torn off and is loose.
Huh.
Oh.
Well, don't do that again. I can't save you next time.
Ow. But it's loose, right?
Don't touch it. I stop her hand.
Yeah, as your hand brushes against it, it hurts really bad. Like even just barely grazing it, you feel like a pulse of pain that goes all the way down to your fingertips.
Oh, I do not recommend that for anyone else.
Well, the only one else that has one is on me.
Can somebody look at the lock and see if it did anything to the lock?
Oh, God.
I'll help her.
Looks like a lock.
Have we had enough time for a short rest?
Yeah,
No?
you would have had enough time. You guys, so far it's been about like 8-ish hours throughout the day. Like it's getting close to when you would normally be starting to set up camp and eat something.
I pull out my dagger and I'm just gonna tap the lock. Is it the same sound as before?
You notice that just touching the blade to the lock, it's steel on steel.
Alright, so he isn't taking that.
We technically had a short rest. I want to try ghostly gaze again when Vala mentioned that if anything had changed with the lock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still fuzzy. You do notice, however, one corner of it is not fuzzy, and the fuzzy shape is kind of shifted somewhat.
So it's either just generic arcane BS, or whatever opens this changes rhythmically, so you can't just know, I guess.
To be fair, given what I saw out of that woman and what I've seen out of that man, this whole place is arcane bullshit.
Yes. I think that's really stop it for now.
Weird question, Jody.
Mm-hmm.
But does the fuzzy thing I saw look like writing of any kind?
No, it. I don't know if you've ever worn glasses or anything where like you get a speck of dust on it, and it's just this kind of fuzzy thing. It's this what it looks like, except it doesn't move with your vision. It's just in that place, but it has shifted like an inch or so.
So where's this corner you say it's not weird, Henry?
I'll point to it. But it's on the inside of it, not on the outside.
I kind of feel it, jab at it with my dagger. I don't know, it's all the same to me.
So wait a minute. You touched it with the dagger before, and now you're kind of.
I'm just seeing if it leaves any scratches or anything.
Okay, so when you just tapped it, it was steel on steel. As you kind of jab it at it, you get that slightly different sound and nothing.
Hmm.
Like now, there's no steel on steel.
Mm.
Oh, I give up and I just go to my corner and sit down.
Yeah,
As
I
you
have
do-
no idea.
As you do that, you hear the door behind you open, and another woman you hadn't seen before. This one is obviously some sort of elven, but she's relatively short, probably not taller than about 5 feet, and she has this long hair that's in this big braid that goes all the way down. Almost to her knees, and it's green, which is weird because you're not really used to seeing green hair. Even like wood elves might have kind of green tinges to their outfits. Green hair, though, is a new one. She comes in, and again, she has those kind of dead eyes. But she has this smile, which combined with the dead eyes is really unnerving. And she's pushing a cart that has something on it. And she comes in smiling and almost skipping with these dead eyes, and takes this plate of piled high with something that looks baked on it, and places it on the other side of the door, or other side of the cage, literally right outside of it. And she goes, "The bars are wide enough. You can get this without me having to open it. I'm not supposed to open the cages anymore. Enjoy your dinner." And she kind of turns around and starts walking away.
You'll be laughed.
And she kind of stops and turns. She goes, "What?
You heard me.
No, I did. What did you say?"
You'll be laughed.
She kind of gets this weird, puzzled expression. Yes, but that's because I'm the newest.
What do you think we're talking about? What is your name, sweetheart?
I'm Ismail.
Ismail. What a lovely name. I like your hair.
Thank you. The Dark Lord likes it this way.
It is quite unique. Tell me, what are you going to be last for?
I'm always last. I was the last one who joined, and therefore I am always last. Last to eat, last to service the Dark Lord. It's my place.
Mm.
Can I have it? I don't know if I'd be able to do that. Can I have it see and dad? But when I was about a dad.
Yeah, sure. Make a investigation or perception check would actually be it, and you can make it with advantage.
No.
Looking at her, you can't be 100% certain, but her cheeks are a little flush, which hints at the fact that she has blood that's pumping.
Uh,
Though theoretically, it could mean she's just very, very new on the data.
I want to ask, do you by chance know where we are, like in the world?
Yes, we're in the kingdom of the Dark Lord.
Where is that? Sorry, I'm new here too.
I'm far too new to have that knowledge. When I've been here long enough and he's pleased enough with me, he may allow me to leave through the front entrance. For now, the few times I have left, he sends me out using his vast power.
Where are you from?
And she kind of, like, everything stops for a second. She stops moving, but blinking, everything. And just kind of stands there like a statue for a few seconds. What did you say?
I was just wondering where you're from, sweetheart. Where's home?
Well, this is home.
Where was home?
Oh, that's and she gets this look of concern on her face. I don't know. And then her face kind of returns to that resting state. What does it matter, really? This is my home now. I serve the Dark Lord. I'm one of his chosen. That's a very precious position. There are only 4 of us. I'm the newest, but one day I hope to be the head like Al.
So how far away is the front door from us?
And again, she kind of stops everything for a couple seconds. And then, what did you say?
Nothing.
Okay.
As she leaves, I turn her.
Well, she looks at her. She has a look of like anger on her face. Damn it! Forgot your water. I'll be back. And she runs out the door.
I turn to Argenta and go, I think she might be redeemable.
She's nice, but no, he's bullshitted her. She dies
Yeah. But if we kill him, maybe she'll be free.
And if they don't, they'll die.
Agreed.
By Argenta's logic, that means I'm going to be dying too.
You don't have that blank bullshit look.
And as you say that, you hear the door open again, and she's coming in with a bunch of flagons with looks like water, and she comes in. She's kind of rushing over. You watch her kind of trip and fall, and Vala, you get splashed with water, and she just spills everything, and she kind of gets up. She's like, "Oh, I'm so and I got your food. I'm very sorry. I'm new, and I'm always causing trouble."
It's okay, dear. And I'll and I'll just I put my hand out to try to comfort her.
And as soon as you do, you see this look of an immense fear in her eye. For a split second, like the dead eyes vanishes, and you see this immense fear in her eye, and then you see sadness, and she just kind of leans down and kind of prostrates herself in front of you. Okay. And just
okay,
waits
dear.
there.
And I'll just caress her head, be like, "It's okay, dear. Accidents happen."
And she kind of snaps her head up. What are you doing?
Nothing. You had spilt the water.
Yes, I did something wrong. I should be punished.
Mistakes
And then her
happen.
eyes go dead again. I shouldn't be here. And then she gets up and very calmly walks away.
By any chance, did she have one of those belt buckles? The red ones that we found in Dorme?
No.
A similar effect, that's what I was wondering.
Mm-hmm.
I just pull out another tin of rations and I'm eating those.
You guys can see the food that's not wet right now seems to be basically hardtack, if you're familiar with that.
No.
Yeah.
So it's, it's food. It doesn't look poisoned or anything like that. It's just not tasty.
Yeah, I'm eating rations.
I just sit in my corner eating and drinking.
I don't trust anything in this place.
Yeah, neither do I. I eat my rations.
If this doesn't kill me, then I'm sure I'll die eventually anyway. And I'll just start eating the food and water that you left.
I'll join Henri in eating the hardtack.
It's really dry. In fact, it's easier to eat the one she spilt the water on. And you guys have probably had it before. As long as it doesn't get wet, it keeps for weeks, if not months. So, as you guys are chowing down, you hear the door open again, and you see this another woman come in you've never seen before. This one has this deep, almost burning red hair that goes down to past her shoulders, and it kind of it's kind of a mess. She has it kind of falling over her shoulders, onto her chest, onto her back, slightly unkept. She's wearing this very kind of tight, low-cut top and very tight trousers, and she kind of slinks in, almost prowling like a cat. And she's got a rag and a bucket with her, but they seem almost like side thoughts as she comes in. Well, hello there. And again, dead eyes, but everything else.
And what's your name?
Oh, I don't think you know me well enough to be on a first name basis yet.
I lean over to Vala. Number 2.
Oh, no. 3. At the
If that's
damn
impressive.
Kira's number 2.
If that's impressive.
But I'm certain one day, fairly soon, I believe. See, you all have given me the perfect opportunity.
Oh, really?
And she comes in and she just starts kind of dabbing up the water on the floor. See, he doesn't quite trust me since there was an issue. I was just trying to do what he told me, but it involved giving someone an incentive to help me, and apparently the incentive I gave him, well, he wasn't quite pleased about the exact incentive. And so I lost my traveling privileges. But see, you all offered me a chance to get back in his good graces. See, as long as nothing happens here, there's no way for me to redeem myself. But you are something that's happened.
If we were to escape by the hands of that bitch Kira, I could give you some upward mobility.
Oh, most definitely. Right up till the point that the Dark Lord kills me. Do I look like a moron? I can tell you're smarter than this. You've pulled your fair share cons. You're going to have to try a little bit harder. See, you don't con a con.
So how can we help you?
Oh, I'm just doing what the Dark Lord commands.
Which is?
Cleaning up after the baby.
Such high aspirations. I thought you had ambition.
I play the long game. See, time really doesn't have that much of a meaning when you're the most important person to the being that controls death. So I simply have to bide my time. I got sloppy, won't happen again, but I did want to see what new toys he has that I might be able to use. And she gets really close to the bars and kind of presses herself in and just kind of touches you on the nose. Don't worry. I'll come up with a good use for you. And maybe your friend too.
Oh.
And then she backs up. You guys make sure you don't make any more messes, okay?
But then we won't get to see you.
And she kind of looks at you. Oh, you're dangerous. Better stay away from you if I don't want to get in trouble again. And she leaves.
I'm getting real sick of the company you keep on me.
Yeah, you too, Argenta.
If he's so not scared of us, why are we in a damn cage anyway? Anyway.
Convenience. Doesn't have to track us down. But he's can't.
Yes, he's the master of death. Why doesn't he prove it to us by standing in the goddamn sunlight? Then I might be afraid.
As you guys are speaking, you notice the wall sconces start to dim again.
Well, I think I've had enough of this god-awful day.
I wouldn't even call it a day.
Yeah.
And I will, once again, kind of, open my mind with the ring. Sing out Daisy again and just be like, Leopold, if you're listening, time is of the essence.
I'm gonna try and use the robe that he gave me since I'm not wearing it anymore and try to make it into a hammock with the quarters in one of the corners, just kind of tie it into a hammock so I don't sleep on the hard floor.
Okay.
I'm just sleeping on the floor.
And I'm gonna leave my mind open until the morning.
Okay. And with that, that is where we are going to end it for tonight. So thank you to everyone that tuned in. Thanks to Elias for the sub. Always loves seeing you here. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you missed any of the episode, you can watch all of them on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/TrainerJody. Otherwise, that's all for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.